Hello and welcome back to another Blender tutorial. In this one I'm going to be showing you how to quickly animate your robot. I'm just going to give you some quick tips. So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we need to give this scene a floor. So go ahead and add in a plane. Alright, so that looks good. And just bring it up, kind of bring it up, bring it down using G and Z, and you can hold down shift to get more precise movements until you're right on the floor, and that looks good. So I'm just going to probably give this kind of a dark gray texture for now. You can change it, but I just want to tell the difference between that and this robot. So that's all looking good. So we can go ahead and start. So go ahead to this tab and press animation. And basically what this is going to do is it gives you basically this right here. This is where you can kind of add in some of your keyframes. Forgot what they were called. But what we're going to do is actually use this, and I'm not actually smart enough to figure out how to get this here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and delete the animation tab, and I'm going to go over to this brand new tab, go to general layout, and I'm just going to name it animation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the screen by holding my mouse over here on the edge and moving this over. I didn't mean to do that. If you accidentally pull it one out, then go ahead and just grab the corner and move it down, and boom, it's gone just like that. And I can't move this up for some reason. I'm not really sure why that's a thing, so I have to make this one large area, and then I'm going to add in a window here, and then separate the view here. So basically here is going to be where I can add all of my keyframes. Here is going to be kind of my graph editor, although right now it's just a viewport, so I guess technically you could try to make stuff, but it's very, very thin. So just go ahead over here and change it to the graph editor, and then here you can keep it the same. Here what we're going to do is turn off this and this, and we are going to probably just uh, go ahead and turn on this right here so we can kind of see what everything looks like. And just position your camera and go ahead and press T to hide the tools menu. And if this is open, you can press N to hide that. And basically this is going to be our view of what's going on. Whereas in this screen, this is going to be our animating screen. This is where we're going to be doing all of the work. So first off, we're just going to make the robot kind of move back and forth. And let me unhide the sphere for a second. And basically I'm just going to leave it called a sphere. So what we're going to do is just basically make the robot just kind of drive forward and backwards. So I'm just going to turn on this auto key here, this dot right here, press it so that it's blue, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull the robot backwards. And what that did is it actually kind of said to Blender, okay, the robot is here at this time, at this time of the animation. So basically these are your frames, or these are your frames. I'm going to probably go over to frame 60, and I'm going to move this forward on the x-axis like this. And now, as you see, as we play it back, it actually moves. So this is where the graph editor comes in handy. So if you click on this right here, I can pull this out to be a little bigger. There we go. So the graph editor, what you could do is kind of bring this down right here, this slider right here, and press the X location. That's going to highlight this right here. So this red line, there we go. And basically what this is it's basically the graph, so how this is basically behaving. So what I want to do is I want to make it slow down really slowly. So I'm actually going to pull this out and maybe pull this down just a little bit so we get that kind of smooth transition. We wanted to keep it flat though, because if it's like this, the robot's going to stop really quickly. So I'm just going to hold it like this and see how that works. And there we go. It comes to a very slow stop. So that's basically how the graph editor works. Oops. Be careful not to accidentally mess with any of the other graphs, because that could really ruin your day. But basically, here we go. The robot is now moving forward and it's slowing down just like we want. So we can now pull this window down and go here. And I'm basically going to make this arm kind of bend down. So we want to kind of make it move after it stops. So I'm going to go to frame 65, set a keyframe, and then go to about frame 80 and kind of pull this down like this. And that should be good for now. Pull that down. And then you're going to want to kind of make it so that the claws are going to open as they come down. So what you want to do is you want to add a keyframe. I added one at my 67th frame. You can kind of bring it down here. And what we're going to do is press G, and then we're going to press Z twice to move it on its local axis. So there we go. We can pull it out. And remember that driver that we made, so that way when it comes down, it's going to open up. And then we want it to basically grab this sphere. So what we're going to do is we could make it so this sphere follows the movement of this right here by right-clicking and parenting it, but we're not going to do that because that makes it hard to animate. So what I'm going to do is actually go over to here to your object constraints, and I'm going to use the child of, and I'm going to set it a child of this object right here. So where did that put this? So basically now it's matching the rotation and scale of this, and we don't want to do that, so get rid of the rotation and the scale. And basically you want to make it so that when it's at 0 influence, it matches when it's at 1 influence, or it's being influenced totally by this. And how you can do that is, well, first of all, our sphere is floating, so we can pull that down. But basically what we're going to do is basically set it so that it has no influence on this frame, but on the next frame it has complete influence. So basically what I did is on this frame I just pressed I when this was at 0, and then on the next frame I moved it all the way up to 1 and I pressed I again, and basically what that's doing is it's inserting keyframes. So now the thing is, it's all the way off to the side. So what we could do real quick is on this frame right here, I'm just going to press Alt Control A and apply all transforms. No, that did not work. Okay, never mind. Don't do what I just did. Instead, what we're going to do is just make it so this matches the position of this. So I don't think... Okay, so basically we're going to have to just basically go from this frame to this frame, but I turned off, let me Control Z to undo, because I have to keep this on, keep the auto keying on. I'm just going to add in the location here, and go to next frame, and move it here so that it matches where it was. So basically it's a little high right now, so I'm going to pull it down. I'm just using the arrow keys to kind of swap between the views. So this is a little to the left, so I need to pull it a little to the right up, and that's looking pretty good. Maybe a little down. See how that looks. Kind of have to be pretty precise with this, so hold down G, and that's pretty good. Like, you're not going to notice that, so next what we're going to do is basically now that it's going to follow this right here, see? So what we got to do is kind of make it so that this claw is going to kind of grab onto the sphere. So on frame 90, I'm just going to make it so that it kind of clinches in like this. And this should be tilted down a little more, but the problem with that is whenever I rotate it, the sphere is going to follow. So we just have to, oh gosh, we basically have to take these keyframes here and move it here. So now this is when it has when this has 0 influence over the movement of the ball, and this is when it has 100% influence over the movement of the sphere. So basically, here we're going to probably go ahead and add in a keyframe right here, just that way when it kind of comes down and grabs on, we're going to kind of have that kind of fluid motion the whole way through. So I'm just going to go to probably frame 85 and just press R and then Z twice to get it so it moves up and down on the local view, and probably go there, and now it is holding on to the ball. And for the time's sake, I'm not going to tweak this anymore, but basically you could make it so that it rolls up, rolls forward a little more, but I'm just not going to do that because I'm running out of time. So now because this moved kind of messed up a little bit, so we basically have to take this and kind of rearrange the sphere here. So it's a little off to the side. Needs to be a little up. There we go, perfect. So now, on this frame, this is when everything can start moving away. So I'm going to just press R and then instantly left click, so that way we have no change. And that basically just adds another keyframe so that it's basically telling I'm not moving during this time frame. So basically it's telling Blender that. And then afterwards we can go to probably frame 110 and move this back. Now that's a small issue here, how the sphere is moving like that. I don't know if you have this issue, but let's see if I can. It's a little odd. Maybe I can just kind of make it look okay just for time's sake. Kind of move that down. I'll just keep it like that, and hopefully you don't have this issue. I'm not entirely sure why it's doing that. But yeah, if you have this issue, then you might need to look it up. I'm sorry, I have no idea. Hopefully it's just maybe a bug in the system, because this should work in theory, unless... Oh, it needs to match the rotation, I think. No. No, it doesn't. Okay. Huh. Well, that's an issue. So hopefully you're not having that problem. If you are, I'm really sorry, but you can kind of do what I did to make it look like it's going to work by basically having this move. But that should be it for that part. Hopefully again, you didn't run into that problem. So now the robot is going to move forward. It's going to bend down and pick the ball up, and there we go. And that's pretty good for now. If you want, you can animate these now that you have the idea of animating. Really, you kind of have to kind of jump into it and give it a try, but for now, that's going to be all. I am really sorry about this not behaving like it should be. It might be because of the rotation, so you might want to mess with the rotation slightly. Let's see. Yeah, so make sure, okay, so make sure the rotation is selected. That's where I went wrong. So basically, all you really have to do is just, again, make it so that it fits here. And then also, the rotation might mess you up slightly. So what you could do is, let me exit out, go back to this normal viewpoint, is what you could do if you really wanted to kind of work on this a little extra is go ahead and just replace that material. Go here and just add in a just like a brick texture. Just set the color to the color, and it'll basically give you this, and basically you can use this to figure out if it's rotating or not, so you can set the rotation for your animation, and then just once you're done, just swap it back to this material right here, and you should be good. But hopefully you're able to solve those problems, and that should be all for now, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.